Okay, time for something different again. I'm basically answering another question, of which it's a question I've been asked many times, hundreds of times. I can't believe it's taken me so long to do a video on it, really, and so I am sorry about that. But it's basically about DCC management. What is it? How do you go about it? If we just pan over to these locos here, and then zoom in on that Bachmann Class 40, that locomotive there is DC, so that doesn't come into it. And the Class 08 to the left of it, that's still DC, it's not been chipped yet, so we're not worried about that. But the Class 73, she has been chipped. She is a DCC locomotive, and so is the Class 9F Evening Star behind her. That's a DCC locomotive too. And then there's a Black 5 just over there, that's been chipped, and over there in blue is the City of Bristol, the locomotive out of the Royal Scot. She's been chipped as well. So how do I remember what their numbers are? Because every single DCC locomotive has to have a number. It doesn't matter what controller you use, whether it's the Hornby Select that we have here, or one by Gagemaster or Lens or even Bachmann. It doesn't matter, they all work on the same principle. Every locomotive has to have a number. So for example, to activate and fire up the City of Bristol, you have to punch in, I think that one's number 4, so you'd have to punch in number 4 and then press select. And then to switch to the Class 73, well, they give that the number 53, 5, 3, select, and that's that. But how do I remember those numbers? What sort of system have I got in place? Well, there's only one thing to do, and that's to have a bit of a lesson in DCC management. Oh, out comes the pen. He's getting serious. It can store a maximum of 100 addresses, well, 99 addresses. It has one of those digital LCD displays like this, which allow it to make up any number, and it breaks down roughly like this. I think 00 is reserved for DC control. So if you wanted to run a DC train using that DCC controller, then you'd use 00, but I don't recommend anybody do that. I really don't. If you want to control a locomotive, you've basically got number 01 right through to 59. And then if you want to control an accessory, because the DCC select controller will allow you to control accessories as well, such as points and lights, then you've got positions 60 through to 99, and that's the maximum the display can handle. This is of course the DCC select controller. You know, different controllers will have different restrictions, but it doesn't matter. The point I'm explaining is applicable to all systems. We just have to work with the one we've got. Well, basically what I do is forget all of them, because I don't use the controller to control any accessories. Not at the moment, and I don't really have plans to. However, this bit is important. And I break it down into 3 types. So if I just just get a nice fresh clean piece of card, like this. We've got 3 types of locomotive, haven't we? You've got steam locos, diesel locos, and then electric locos. I know that technically the diesel ones are diesel electrics, well, the vast majority of them are, whereby they have a huge diesel engine like that powers a whole load of electric generators, and that drives the motors that make the wheels go round. It doesn't matter. The principle is the same. That produces steam, that burns diesel, and that uses electric, either off a third rail or an overhead system. Any locomotive you have, and there's an awful lot of locomotives there, can be broken down into these three simple groups: steam, diesel and electric. And it just so happens that the number 60, or to be exact 59, can be broken down into three groups as well. Let me explain. Get another sheet of card. I'm getting through a lot of card, aren't I? So again, let's write steam like that, and then diesel like that. Oops. And then electric like that. Basically, I have the numbers 0, 1 through to 19 reserved for steam. So all my steam locomotives are in between 1 and 19. I haven't used them all yet, and I'm not too sure what I'm going to do when I am. I'll have to recalibrate. Diesel, they're all 21 through to 39. And then all my electrics are 41 through to 59. So this leaves a few spare. If I just draw a line underneath that. Number 20 I keep reserved for the Pico track cleaner. And number 40 I keep that reserved for a consist, which is where you get two locomotives and you couple them together and then you run them as one, 40. So you forget that that might be number 7 and that's number 23. Forget them. Together they become number 40. So I keep number 40 reserved for consists, which is 2 or 3 locomotives coupled together, and I keep number 20 reserved for the Pico track cleaner, which has a motor inside it and a DCC chip so that you can alter the speed of the vacuum or the cleaner. And so, as I say, all steam locomotives fall into that, all diesel locomotives fall into that, and all electric locomotives fall into that. So for example, the Pendolino is number 41. The EW&S class 37, my 37 is 24. And the City of Bristol is number 4. And my class G2A by Batman is number 11. And it falls into that. And that is how I have it. And I've gone one step further, and I even have a little book for it. Just here. But it's really nice because it's split up into these different sections. So if you can see, I've got an S there for steam, a D for diesel, and an E for electric. So if we just flip this over to the first section, here are all the steam locos I have chipped and their corresponding number. And then here are all the diesel locos I have chipped and their corresponding number. See? And then in the yellow section for E, these are the electric locos I have and their corresponding number. So you can see that the Pendolino is 41, like I said. The Intercity 225 is 42. The British Rail Class 87 Britannia, that's number 45. So there we have it. I recommend that you follow a similar sort of system because it'll make it really easy, really easy to remember and to use and to get used to. And I recommend you get one of these little books and you do something like what I've done. I mean, I don't know, you've probably got your own system already, you know, you've probably got it cracked and you have your way of doing it. But I was asked to explain how I do it because there's a lot of new people coming into the hobby and they're not too sure how to do it. Well, this is one way, that's for sure. And I'm going to have to stop it there because the battery's flashing So I will leave it at that, go put it on the computer and upload it.